Israel's military saying it conducted an airstrike on Hezbollah headquarters in Beirut. Video shows smoke rising in the southern part of Lebanon's capital. This all happening just after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the UN General Assembly, vowing to keep fighting back against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Correspondent Joe Khalil is live in Washington, and this is certainly a developing situation here, Joe.
Yeah, it is. And you can just see from the images you just showed that this is one of the larger strikes we've seen so far. This is what we can confirm now, that Israel says the target of that strike was the number one at Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, the man who has been at the head of that terrorist organization for decades, since 1992. So far, Israel has not confirmed whether or not he was hit. There are a number of local Israeli and Lebanese media sources saying that he has survived. But obviously, big news developing. We have not seen images of Nasrallah yet since this strike, so we're going to continue to monitor developments there. Again, the IDF confirming, though, that they did launch that strike in Beirut at the command headquarters of Hezbollah. So that is obviously big. Prime Minister Netanyahu leaving New York early to head back to Israel. We just learned that in the last hour or so, Nichole.
So, Joe, talk more about what did the Prime Minister say during today's UN address?
Well, he was defiant. You know, remember that this comes in the backdrop of efforts by the United States and France to try to broker a peace deal, or at least a temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon and also in Gaza. And it did not appear at all as though Netanyahu was ready to step toward peace. At this moment, he talked about how they are going to continue to take the fight to Hezbollah. And at one point, he made a direct reference to Iran. And I want to play that soundbite. I thought it was the most pointed moment of his entire address here. Take a listen.
I have a message for the tyrants of Tehran. If you strike us, we will strike you. There is no place in Iran that the long arm of Israel cannot reach. And that's true of the entire Middle East. Far from being lambs led to the slaughter.
So really throwing the gauntlet down there, obviously Iran being the sponsor, both in funding and many cases planning for the terrorist group Hezbollah in Lebanon there. You may have noticed there were a lot of empty seats in that General Assembly room, Nichole. Many of the delegations in that room left out of protest when Prime Minister Netanyahu took to the podium, which was a big deal. This is an assembly that has not necessarily been welcoming to Netanyahu or the way that he has conducted the war in Israel, in Gaza specifically. There have been calls to hold him accountable for human rights violations. He addressed that. He addressed his critics. He said, by not supporting Israel, you are by proxy then supporting Iran, which many of these delegations and leaders, including those in the U.S., would disagree with. But still, it was a certainly quite a scene there as you're watching delegations walking out during the Prime Minister's address there.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.